Hello and welcome to another video. After the recent release of Condor 3, everybody's getting very excited about using the new 9000 LX9000 glide computer. There are many profiles available for this device online. I wasn't really able to find one that would really suit my needs, and I think it's the profile is such an individual thing that is really difficult to find one that you will really like. So in this video, I would like to show you some basics of how to actually create your own profile, which then can grow as you get more experience. So the more you fly, you might realize that some info boxes are not necessary, and maybe that you would like to tweak your profile a little bit. And I hope that with what I'm about to show you in this video, that you will be confident and competent to amend your own profile and well, make it perfect. Of course, this video is not really designed for real-world gliding. This is just a really quick tutorial to cover some basics that I will hope will help the simming community, especially the newcomers to Condor 3. So how do we get started? Well, first of all, you need to download a piece of software from the LXNav website. So if you just search internet for LXSim, you should have no difficulties to find this particular website that we are looking at right now. If you're on this website, you just need to go to downloads and software. After clicking on this, this page will open, and the first thing on the top, the LXStyler, is what you need to download. So download the LXStyler, this first thing on the top, download LXStyler and install it. After you've installed the LXStyler and you run it the first time, this is what you will probably be looking at. If not, we can always go to File and then start new configuration, and we need to select this option for LX9070 portrait mode, because that's what we've got in Condor 3. So let's select that, and we get this particular baseline profile, default profile. So I would suggest to save this profile at this stage, and in order to be able to access it later in the LXSim and in Condor. So what we are going to do is just click on File and then Save As. You need to navigate to the folder after the Condor 3 was installed. With Condor 3, LXSim was also installed, and you should have this folder which is called LXSim and then the SD card. So we just need to be in that directory, and then we are going to come up with the name. I already have one which is called tutorial profile, so that's what I'm going to use. I'm just going to overwrite that one. So just save your project on that SD card, and now we're ready to go. So I think that especially beginners make a mistake of thinking that the more info boxes and more pages on your gliding computer, the faster you will fly, which is probably quite the opposite. So especially at the beginning, I suggest to limit the number of pages, limit number of info boxes and available modes to keep it relatively simple and rather useful. So what I'm going to suggest is, by right-clicking on all these pages, I'm just going to remove them so that do not clutter my view. So I'll just right-click and remove all of them, both from the airport mode and the waypoint mode. So that's removed of them, and I'm actually going to disable these two modes by unticking these two boxes. So in the task mode, of course, we can't disable that mode. I don't particularly I personally don't need a statistics mode, so I'll just disable this as well, and the info mode and the new mode. So pretty much I'm just going to be left with my task mode and the setup mode. In the task mode, I'm also going to remove all these pages because I just want to start with a clean slate. So there we go, we've got almost everything removed. And now I'm going to start creating my own profile by right clicking in this task mode and adding a blank page. So there we go, I just added a blank page. So with this new page created, we can now start editing it. So you can start editing it by double clicking on it. It will then open in another window like this. So there we go. So that's, I'm just going to maximize that. So there we go. So this is our blank page, and let's start by adding some info boxes to it. So info boxes, we can add an info box by clicking this data icon on the top. And with the data icon, let's say I will start by adding a target elevation. So there we go, we've got target elevation, and I've just added my first info box. Right. Especially if you are flying in VR, some of this text can be quite small and difficult to see. And because we are reducing the number of info boxes anyway, well, we could make them bigger because we've got space to do so. So what I'm going to do is I will change the title font size font size to 30, but maybe before we do that, we should actually change the size of this info box. And because the screen is 4,800 pixels, we can fit 3 info boxes 160 pixels wide. So that's why for size I'm going to go for size 160 by 100 to have a nice big info box. So we've already adjusted the size of the title. Now we can also adjust the size of the font. I would go for something like 50. Maybe I think we could even go for something bigger, maybe even 60. Now I don't think that we necessarily need to have a unit. So to save some space, we could select this option here, units hidden, and change it to yes, and that's how our info box will look like. So what I'm going to do is I will maybe just drag it to the corner for now. And now we can add some more info boxes. I intend this page to be my thermalink page in the future. So what I'm going to do is I will just select it so it's nice and blue, press Ctrl C and then Ctrl V. And now we've actually, as you can see on the left side, we've actually created 2 of them. So we can simply drag one of them and move it to a new position until it nicely snaps into place. I'm just going to add a couple of more. So now to change the content of this info box, we just need to go over here and click on symbol type and change it. Again, this time I'm going to search for average value for flight, and I'm just going to put it right next to my right next to first one, waiting for icon to snap into place. Again, same procedure, Control C, Control V, and we've got another info box. In a very similar way, we can change the content of that info box. So this time I will go for arrival altitude for target. So that's going to tell me at what altitude I'm going to arrive to my goal or to the next endpoint. So again, in a similar way, Control C, Control V, we drag it to a new position. We've got another box, and maybe we could add something like, I think this could be quite useful. Revolution time, which is going to take tell us how long we take to make one full circle when we are thermaling. If we are thermaling nice and tight, this should be about 20 seconds. Again, we are going to copy Control C, Control V, and move a new box to a new position. Maybe we could go, because again, I intend this to be my thermaling page. Maybe I will go next for cycling radius. That can tell you how tight your orbit actually is. And Control C, Control V to create another one and drag it to a new position. And the last one, let's go for last thermal vertical speed, maybe. Last thermal vertical speed. There we go. Okay, so with the info boxes added, we are going to add a next feature to our profile. This is going to be a big one. So let's put a map. So we can go to the left over there, click on map, and that's going to just fill our screen with the map. So with the map, there is a lot of different options over here. So first of all, I think that we are going to adjust the size and the position of this little airplane. So in layout, I think that I will set the size to something like 60, so it's nicely visible on, and then I think that for the position for both north and track, I will enter something like that to make it lower, so 240 and 500 to just bring it a little bit lower down on the map, so there is more map in front of the glider. So that's our glider sorted. So the next thing, again, we are going to now click on the map and go through all those options by one. So we can just use the map setting for current page. We might have different pages set in a different way, so I would select this to yes. There is nothing really that we need to change in weather or in airspace. Of course, we want to be able to see the airspace, so I will select airspace to yes. Show inactive zones, I think that we don't really need to see that, so I will select that to no. Then the airspace types, I wouldn't touch anything here. The next important bit is the flange section. So first of all, we need to see Flam as yes, which is already selected. So I think that's all fine. The only thing is I'm looking for adjustment. I'm looking for the adjustment of the font. It's hidden a little bit here. I would change it to maybe something like 20. So as you can see, the numbers that show the altitude and the vertical speed are a little bit bigger. Of course, you could change the color of the text as well. To change the color, you would simply have to click on this arrow and select a different color, whichever you like. So I will just leave it as blue for now. So that's our Flam sorted. Now for glider and truck, I think that I would just change the width to make the trucks a little bit wider and more visible on the map. So I'm just going to set this 3 to something like 4. So that's our glider and truck sorted. In terms of layout, that's all fine. Map and terrain, show map. Right. Okay, this is where we could select the map that is going to be used. So I would select the mountains, but that's absolutely up to you. There are different color schemes available there. So this is our map and terrain. Map and terrain elements, let's just leave this. Map options, so this is quite important. It just depends on what you prefer. If you prefer to have north always on the top of the screen, or maybe you prefer to have the direction in which you are flying on the top of the screen, which is my preference. So I will set it to track, but you can just leave it as north if that's what you are used to. And zoom to target, that's going to make sure that you see the whole path all the way to the target, which is probably be a turn point. I would select this to no, but again, you can try and come up with your own setting there. So right, the task, next thing, I would just make, as you can see, I'm just making some of the lines thicker, so the task is more visible on the actual map. And I think that's about it in terms of what we need to do, with the map. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to add another info box. So this time we are going to add right, let's add target name. So we've got target name, and what I'm going to do with that is, so we've got target name. I'm going to change the font to something like 40, so it's not nice and big. We don't really need to have the title shown, so let's select that to no. And in terms of the layout, I will make it, so let's just go to layout and size. I will make it something like 380 by 70, and I'm just going to drag it a little bit to the right side and snap it there. And of course, in terms of the in the font section, in terms of the alignment, I'm just going to change it to be aligned to the left side, so the whole length will, well, the whole name will start over here. Now I am also going to change colors. This is going to be my thermal ink, so I'm going to change the color to something like this. So I will, whenever the screen is active, I know that I'm on my thermaling page. But again, you may decide to do something completely different. Now we need to do one more. So we are just going to have another one, which I like to have, which is distance to target. So distance to target. And for distance to target, again, I would like to have the same colors, so they kind of match. So that's the same color. And again, we don't need to have the title for that. So I will select this as no. Right, and in the size, we can simply, by the way, if we just drag it, it will snap. So I just want to fill in the space that we've got over here. Right, I forgot about the font. So let's just change the font to same as for the other one, which was 40. I don't think that we need to have units. So hide units hidden, units hidden, yes. So that's going to tell us how many kilometers we've got to the next, endpoint. I think that we could even make those numbers slightly bigger, but let's stick with this for now. So we've got this nice page on the top. I think another quite useful thing that we could add is an indication of our flaps. So that's what I'm going to do next. So on the top, up as we go along, eventually we can see this icon flaps. So let's just click on that and add it to our map. I am just going to change the size of it. So in terms of the size, let's make it bigger. Maybe put it aligned with the top, and I am also going to change the font to something like 30, so it's more clear what's in those boxes. So that will do for the flaps. I think we also need to have, maybe it would be a good idea to have an orientation. I'm just going to put it over here, and just one thing, size, let's make it bigger again so we can see it properly. 100 by 100, that should do. One more thing that might be quite useful is let's now add another thing, which is wind. So wind is over here on the top. If we click on this, it's going to add, it's quite small, but as you can see, there's not much in it at the moment, but well, we are going to fix this in a second. So first, let's have that to be much bigger. I think that should fit over here nicely. If not, we can just drag it and resize it to the correct size. And now we can enable here the average wind to be shown, and maybe even the current wind to be shown, and the thermal to be shown. So that's going to indicate as we are thermaling, where the center on which part of the orbit the lift is the strongest. So I think that we also need to have and some sort of indication of a scale, which is this zoom icon over there. So I'm just going to add this again and put it maybe in over here, just above just above my info boxes. Again, in terms of size, I think that this is way too small, so I'm just going to make it bigger, and of course drag it up so it aligns nicely. And let's put a font something like 40. That should be plenty enough. So there we have. So we now have the scale for our map. Maybe one more thing that I would like to see over here is the final glide. So we already added wind, so now on the top of the day in the menu, let's just click on final glide and add this to our map. Again, with the final glide, as with other bits, let's first change the size to something like that, and the font, maybe let's just put something like 40 for the font. Okay, we now have a nice final glide indicator that we can maybe put in the corner. So the top number indicates the McGreedy setting, and the bottom one is the arrival to the end of the task, to the finish line of the task at that McGreedy setting. So a very useful thing to have on your screen. Maybe if you want to have some more stuff on your screen, another thing that maybe I would add is the airspeed tape. So which was on the top of it there, again next to flaps there was airspeed. So in terms of the airspeed, I'm just going to start by changing its size first. So let's make it big enough so it actually fits on top of our scale, and just below the final glide, without actually covering it. So that seems to be a little bit annoying. We can just resize it so it nicely, yeah, maybe up to there. And we just need to change some font size. I think that we could change this to 20 at least, and that one maybe to something like 30. So it's nice. So it's nice and big. Alrighty. So that's pretty much right. That's pretty much my page ready. Of course, if you want, you could, for example, because if this is supposed to be a thermalink screen, you could maybe drag it somewhere else, the indication, maybe even if you don't like the arrows, you could disable them. And I would maybe just to show you, maybe we could add another info box, which is the wind. I'm not sure if we want, maybe you could have, for example, live wind somewhere next to this. I think that this is, again, we could remove the title. We don't really need this title over there. Maybe change a font, of course, to something bigger. Right, okay, that is quite, maybe that will be okay to have it at maybe that size. And of course, if you want, I think this is a good opportunity to show you a couple of other little things. So you could change this background, maybe make it transparent. So to make it transparent, again, we go to this drop down arrow and just bring opacity all the way to 0. So now it's transparent. The same thing with the border. We could make a border transparent. Okay, and maybe for the actual wind text, we could change it to a different color. I'm not really sure what would be more visible. Maybe something like red, or maybe dark blue. that depends on the color of the map, or maybe even black, to have the indication of the wind strength. Okay, we could also maybe drag this somewhere over there and then put the wind strength somewhere there. That's of course up to you, and as you can see, the possibilities here are pretty much endless. I'm just going to leave it up to you to decide where you want this sort of things. So with all this completed, what we can do now is just apply the changes, and as you can see, we've got our first page. Now with this page created, what we can do next is right click on the page, click copy page style, and then just right click just below this first page and just click add page. Sorry, not add page. We can just click paste page, and the same page is going to be copied there. So double click on this second page. Double click on the second page. All right, and here we go. I'm just going to maximize this window. What I'm going to do here, well, we could have, so this is our thermalink page currently. We could have a page for just cruising between two different endpoints. So what I'm going to do is I will first change the color of that to indicate that I'm no longer in a thermalink mode. So then of course we need to do the same thing with the with that. I am not sure about the transparency of, hold on a second, transparency, let's set this to something like maybe 60%. And same over here, something like 60% should do to make it a little bit more transparent. And now you can edit those info boxes and change them. So for example, I could have let's just, for as an example, I think that the ones that are worth having are we could have required glide ratio to target. Maybe we could also add a current glide ratio. So that's current glide ratio. I think that's quite a useful one would be ground speed. That would allow us to make sure, that would allow us to start the task without getting a penalty if there is a maximal start speed set. Okay, we could have another one which is estimated time on route, which will allow us to this is going to allow us to know how long it's going to take us to reach the next target, which is quite useful for regatta starts. We can maybe have right, we could also have Required glide ratio to target, we already have that. Target elevation, yes. Yeah, I forgot about which one I forgot about elevation. Right, instead of variable, let's have ground speed. Yeah. Ground speed. Now I forgot, and there we go. So this is like a second page ready with some different info boxes that will be useful during the flight. So I'm just going to apply that. I just realized that I forgot on both of them to enter one important info box. So I'm just going to edit this and create an additional info box, and the one that I want to add is steering steering course to target. Again, I am going to remove the title. Right. Yeah, show title, let's remove that. And I am just going to set the background color as completely transparent. And maybe we should set its size to something like 50. 50, I mean the font 50. And then in terms of the layout, let's do a size of about that much, 160 by 50. So now we can just maybe put it on the top there. So that's going to tell us in which direction we have to, well, by how many degrees we have to turn to be flying towards our next turn point. I'm going to select this and press Ctrl C. That's another little trick. And then apply the changes to that page. And then open the newly created page. And now by clicking Ctrl V, I'm just going to be able to paste the same info box on another page, which is a quite useful trick. So I'm going to apply this, and now I've got these two pages. Of course, in a similar way, you could carry on and keep adding as many pages as you like. I think that I would just like to show you one more thing. I don't want this video to be super long, so I'm just going to show you maybe two more things. So the first one, let's just copy this page. So copy page style and then paste it again to create another one, and double click it to be able to edit it. Again, for this top, we could select a different color oh, this is definitely not the color we want. So maybe, I don't know, some sort of a pink, but not that pink, just maybe with a lot of transparency. So that's that, and let's do the same thing over here. Right, of course, if you've got one info box, you can always highlight these numbers and copy them and then paste them in a different field to make sure that the colors will be identical. And I'm now going to select the other info box and do the same thing, just paste the colors so they nicely match the other one. Okay, and maybe on this one we may not want to, and this is, I think, a good way to do it, like to create a one page with quite a few elements and then delete those elements when you create the next page. So I will delete this speed indication here and that thing. I don't think that I want to have any of that stuff. Maybe I will leave, maybe I will leave the flaps, but just make it smaller. I'm going to delete all these info boxes, and we'll drag this map up to leave in a lot of space. With the glider, we can just drag it up and put it somewhere there, or maybe even in the middle. I'm not really sure. Let's just leave it there. And what I want to show you now is side view. So let's click on that and insert the side view. So this is a side view, and there's a couple of options related to the side view. Let me just show you what they are. So first of all, let's select the side view and set some options. I think that the size, as for all other fonts, needs to be slightly bigger so we can see the numbers. Right, so that's the first thing that I would probably change. Right, in terms of lines, yes. Okay, so in terms of lines, we could just change. I think they're already thick enough, but we could change the thickness of this of the airspace to make it more visible, and same thing with all these lines. We could make them slightly thicker so they're more visible. Now I'm not going to go into super detail in terms about what each line actually means, but they simply show you your path for different situations. I mean, for example, one could be for MC equal to 0, the other one for your current set MC, another one for your current glide ratio, and so on. Now, I want to use this opportunity to actually show you one more thing that you can do. You can also, just by clicking on in there, select just a label. So a label is just an empty info box, and again I'm just going to make this info box transparent. Okay, and maybe before we make it fully transparent, we can say I'm going to explain that in a minute. So let's have a font size maybe slightly bigger, something like 30, and the text, I'm just going to make it black like this, and maybe for the size, let's go with something bigger, something like that should do. And I'm just going to put it in a corner over there. And right, one really important point is that this cross section through the terrain could be either pointing towards your next standpoint or towards well, in a direction in which the glider is pointing. So you've got three options: bearing to target, plane course, and the plane heading. So maybe we should actually go for heading rather than course. So I will change this to something like heading, and we might need to probably make it bigger so everything fits. So, and we don't need to have, sorry, I forgot to switch this off, transparency of the border. So there you go. So that's how you can add just a stationary thing on your screen. And of course, after applying, you can always right click, copy page style, then just paste new page, double click to edit it, maybe change again, maybe change these colors to something else since we already had pink. Okay, let's just bring transparency down. okay, this is probably not the best color to choose, but for the sake of this video, I don't want to make it too long, so that's I should properly. Okay, I'm just copying and pasting these the colors to make sure that they are slightly different than on the other page. And here, after selecting the cross section, instead of plain heading, maybe we should have bearing to target, and we can just change this label to, for example, something like target. There we go. Apply. We've created quite a few different pages. There is maybe just one more thing that I would like you to show. Well, I would like to show you. So let's just make a copy of one of those pages and just right. Sorry, we need to right click, copy page style, right click page, paste. Paste page. So we've got this new page over here. Double click on it, and what I want to show you here is that we can actually select the map again and go to the map and terrain and change the type of this to relative. This is going to show you the terrain that is below your current altitude in red, and everything else is just going to be white. I think I forgot about one really important setting that I will try to find and show you. And yeah, we should have done this at the beginning to our first page, so we don't. So maybe we could just add it to our thermalink page if I can find this. Yes, I think that we should. You don't necessarily need to have the wrench circles. We've got our scale on the map. I think that should be enough. And this option over here is quite important, which is glider range area. I would probably enable that, so show, and that's going to now show you during the flight the areas that the glider can reach at the current with the current McGreedy setting. You could set it to a different color. I will just set it to default for now. And what we could do now is actually select this map with these new changes, press Ctrl C to copy it. I will just apply it here and close this view. And if I wanted, I could, for example, select this map over here, delete it, and press Ctrl V to paste the other one with, as you can see, with all the settings. So this is the way. Apply, and we can change it on others as well. So I think that I've covered those important bits, like how to create a little cross section and adjust all the settings, and how to choose this fill, which is I think going to be quite helpful for many people. Now the thing is that unfortunately, of course, now we have to save it. So let's just press on save, and that's going to our tutorial LX profile. It has now been saved. So what we are going to do now, let's actually go to. I've already have my LX sim started. So if you now start an LX sim, it will load with the default profile. So if we just click to the right top knob, we should be able to go to this menu and then go to profiles and pilots. And if you have I will just activate something else and close. Okay, I'm not sure if. Right, let's have a go again. So now profiles and pilots. if we now go to the tutorial one, I think that's the one that we just created. Click on active and then close, and there you have it. So this is the one that we've just created. So this is our thermaling page, and this is our one screen. That's our cross section, and so on. So this is in direction of the heading. This is the target, and the final page over here, and we should be able to see all the airspace. So because we've enabled it on all our maps. Right, just a couple of things over here. So in order for this last one, for some reason, if you set relative colors, this does not always work. So if you just click on one of these buttons, sorry, let me just cancel that, one of these buttons, and then click on more, and then on map, right, and then on advanced, and then the map and terrain. Now, as you can see, this is set to OSM, not the relative. I don't know why this is some sort of a bug. It doesn't really work because we've definitely set it to relative. But now by selecting this and by clicking on this scroll wheel, we can actually set it to relative. So now the terrain below us is going to appear, appear red on the map. I find it quite useful, but it's of course up to you if you like it or not. So let's come out of here. There is just one more thing that we need to do is if we go to our menu and then to right, and then to graphics and then to thermal mode, we need to enable the thermal mode. That means that as soon as you start turning, okay, as soon as you start turning, the mode will be switched, the screen will be switched to that particular screen. If you then straighten your flight and start flying straight, then the next page, whichever page you had open previously will open again, and you will be able to carry on your task. So that's all I wanted to cover for today. As you can see, creating your own profile is not really that scary. Maybe the biggest thing or the biggest difficulty might be to decide which info boxes you actually want. If you are really desperate to have some more info boxes, you could also always enable, let's say, the waypoint mode. Just add a blank page there, and maybe by doing what I did previously, which is Control C, by copying Control C, selecting Control C, and going to the new page, Control V, and now of course Control V, and again and again and again. You can put really as many info boxes as you want, and you can change the content of them for each one of them in a way I've shown you before. So just go over here. There are different categories, aircraft, or FAS is not really that useful at the moment in Condor, or this miscellaneous or optimization data, the outside parameters, target parameters, task parameters, and so on. So you could select and put many different info boxes there. Of course, this particular profile is not really well optimized for assign area tasks. You may want to create a different profile for assign area task. You could also create a different profile for a non-gliders without flaps, because we don't really need this strip flaps, flap indicator for gliders which do not actually have flaps. As you can see, it does take quite a bit of effort to create your own profile, but I think it's absolutely worth it. At some point, this is not something that I'm going to use. I definitely will have to think quite a bit about what exactly I want in my profile. It's not something that you can do in just 5 minutes. I mean, it's not easy to decide what you want to have on your profile in just 5 minutes, but as you will be flying, I'm pretty sure you will over time get an idea about what is really useful for you during the flight and what isn't, maybe then you will be able to create your perfect profile eventually. I will at some point. Again, I've just started with LX. I'm also just learning how to use it. Maybe at some point when I get a little bit more experience with it, I might post another video in which I will show you some recommendations about the info boxes and the layout, and maybe at some point I will discuss my own profile. But well, that's going to be like the famous saying in Condor, it's ready when it's ready. So that's going to probably take a long time. So I can't really say when I will be able to do that. So I guess this is going to be all for today's video. Well, enjoy creating your own profile for your lovely and shiny LX9070 in Condor. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.